TV.
Hello, and welcome to The Nine, featuring community conversations, news, and stories that matter from each of the towns, villages, and hamlets that together comprise Caledon. I'm your host, Sherilyn Roman. Each episode, we'll hear from Caledon changemakers, charitable organizations, community activists, and community champions. We'll talk about the environment, politics, human interest stories, arts and culture, and more. For some time now, we've heard from Transportation Minister Prabmeet Sarkaria and Premier Ford that we have some of the safest roads in North America. Increasingly, there are a number of voices in the Caledon community and beyond who disagree, including sitting members of both the provincial legislature and federal parliament, alongside various trucking associations. Adding their voice to the community of concern are today's guests, the three sitting directors of the Caledon Community Road Safety Advocacy Group, or CCRSA for short. You may have seen these women around town hosting information booths at community events, organizing street-side protests, or delegating at various municipal councils and even in our nation's capital city of Ottawa. If you've been personally impacted by increased heavy truck traffic, illegal trucking yards, and have ongoing concerns about road safety, you'll want to listen in as we talk about the advocacy work of the CCRSA in making Caledon and Ontario roads safer for everyone. Hello. Welcome to the three directors of the Caledon Community Road Safety Advocacy Group, Carmela Anselmo Pelkowski, Amanda Corbett, and Franca Pisani. Thank you, ladies, so much for being here this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
I understand that the CCRSA evolved as the result of a number of factors, including the growth of illegal trucking and illegal trucking yards here in Caledon, the sheer volume of trucks on area roads and related safety concerns, and that both your group and many other concerned residents were deeply impacted by the passing of a young Bolton woman whose car was hit by a truck allegedly running a red light. And I understand there's actually been some fairly recent developments on that accident, so perhaps we'll start there. Franca, if I could ask, I believe you had a personal connection with the family of Adriana, the girl who lost her life a little over a year ago.
I have known Pia for over 35 years as an acquaintance, and she is a wonderful mother. She was a single mother raising two children, and she was a pillar in this community. So a lot of people know her. She was raised in Bolton, spent all her life here. And, you know, when Adriana, she had just finished university at Waterloo for her first degree because she was going on to Teachers College.
Oh, wow.
And she was home, and she decided to take a year off to take care of her ill grandmother before she started Teachers College. And so she had come back with her boyfriend. They were living at Pia's house. And she had left that morning, and she was on her way back home when the accident happened. I heard on the radio what had happened, and the first thing everybody thought in Bolton was, where are my loved ones? And so I got to work, and two of my coworkers came in distraught. They had seen the accident.
Oh my goodness.
And they said there was no way anybody could have survived that. And within an hour I got a text telling me it was Pia's daughter. And to tell you the truth, I became numb as a zombie. I just walked around the office as a zombie. I ended up going home. I, scrolled through Facebook, and I saw what had happened. And basically she was just a minute or two from home. When the accident happened, Pia heard the sirens from her home. That's how close Pia lives.
To where the accident occurred.
To where the accident occurred.
And this is a dangerous, it's sort of one of, we're going to be talking a lot about the various hot spots throughout Caledon, but this is a known hot spot.
That area, the area residents have always complained about that area. Very dangerous even to cross as a pedestrian. Trucks going over 100 kilometers an hour, so forth.
So the truck ran a red light?
10 seconds after it turned red. So he was nowhere to be having attention span of the road.
Right.
He was
And we
not
can
paying
say
attention.
that now, just for clarification purposes, we can sort of drop the word alleged, because just in court, just recently, the individual was found guilty.
Yes.
And 55-day jail sentence. What were some of the other conditions that occurred?
He has 2 years probation, 3-year driving ban, and a $1,000 fine.
$1,000 fine for taking the life of
Yeah.
a beautiful young woman. So thank you for sharing that, which I'm sure is and will continue to be difficult. I'm assuming that has in part led to your association with the CCRSA.
Yes, that night I ended up scrolling on Facebook, and I was the numbness had gone, the anger kicked in, and I saw all the residents saying, we've had enough, because it was the last straw.
Yeah.
It was the last straw. And Pia is a pillar in Caledon, and it hit hard. It was like our own daughter.
Right.
So everybody was saying we have to do something, and I said, well, no one's doing anything. And I thought, I put a post out there out of anger, to tell you the truth, and said we need to do something. I thought even if I get 50 to 100 people on board, we'll go to the municipality, and it went viral. And I realized this is bigger than myself, and I reached out for some help. We had a meeting at Caesar's Place. It was about 300 to 400 people.
Wow.
A lot of anger in there. And then a lot of people afterwards, because everything happened so fast, saying, I wish I had known. I would have come.
Right.
And it's just snowballed from there.
And snowballed is perhaps a good word.
Yeah.
Carmela, what drew you to becoming involved in the CCRSA? How did the three of you meet? Maybe it was at that event, but I'll let you share that part of the story. And tell us a little bit about the primary purpose of CCRSA.
So Frank and I met actually after that post went up the night of Adriana's death. We were also impacted, so I have young drivers on the road as well. And my daughter was going to school, and I heard the sirens, and I was not even in that. Like, that was down Coleraine, and I'm in the South Hill of Bolton, so we're not even close, but I could hear sirens. And I was calling my daughter, so everybody was calling their loved ones. It's very true. When I saw Franca's post, I was one of the first people to reach out to her and said, you know what, I've had enough. This is ridiculous. We're living in fear here. And so I did have that want to be part of this group of residents asking for change or demanding for change, really, because I also had a collision on Highway 50. It was a head-on collision. It was very serious. I spent years trying to get through the physical, and I mean, I had a brain injury. So it was years of getting through the pain, and I don't want anybody else to go through this. So that's what drew me into the CCRSA. I really want change. I don't want my kids going through that. I don't want residents going through that, my neighbors and friends.
Right, right. It sounds like we all know somebody.
Yeah.
Who's, from minor collisions to horrific ones.
Absolutely.
That's experienced. And we're going to talk a little bit in a moment about what some of the most dangerous roads are, but certainly we know it sounds like Highway 50 is the epicenter to some degree.
Absolutely. It's becoming one of the most dangerous roads. We were actually ranked the 7th most dangerous road on Highway 50 in Ontario by the CAA.
Not a ranking that we really
No.
No.
And we are becoming famous for being a dangerous road. We're on every social media page.
Right.
Highway 50 is right up there.
Yeah. Notorious.
Yeah.
We're becoming notorious. Amanda, I'd love to learn a little bit more about your role, probably because I've seen you quite a bit in the last few months delegating at council, not just here in Caledon, but Vaughan, the region of Peel. You also all took a road trip out to Ottawa to meet with folks there. So if you wouldn't mind telling us a little bit about how you got involved, and you're the one that's up there in front.
Yeah, so it's not really by design, I would say. It's just sort of the way that we do things. We're very collaborative with each other. We each have different strengths with different things. And so it's just something that I naturally gravitated to that role. Really, I'm like a research person, a data person. That's kind of where I like to spend my time. And so me being sort of the voice a lot of the time, that just naturally happens that way. And I really appreciate the fact that we all work so well together. No drama, no fighting, we're all just for that cause,
right,
and trying to get the best for our community.
Okay. There's a lot to talk about. So I think one of the things that we also wanted to be cognizant of, we wanted to acknowledge that there have long been a core group of concerned residents that have been talking about road safety for quite some time. And there's another group in Caledon, hardworking group of residents that are supporting the Town of Caledon's illegal land use task force.
Yes.
And so they're looking specifically at the issue of trucks parked in yards or fields that are not zoned for trucks, and or they're on agricultural property. So there's lots going on, and I feel like they're all interconnected, but I know that we wanted to acknowledge some of the work that these folks are doing as well. Talk to me a little bit, Carmela, about the illegal trucking yards and how they're impacting road safety.
Yeah, it's a huge problem we have. It's agricultural land that's actually in our area, especially. We're in South Bolton, so across the road is the city of Vaughan. So we'll take that as an example. It's just pieces of land. Somebody comes in, an incorporated buyer buys, and all of a sudden, over a weekend, let's say, there's just land that's taken over by dirty fill. Fill, we don't know where it's come from. There's a little driveway put in, and these are single lane roads of all of a sudden hundreds of trucks being parked. So it's not only the fact that they're taking over this agricultural land, there's no zoning at all. It's agricultural zoning for them. They just start parking. They're coming out of these parking, these driveways and going into oncoming traffic. So because of the infrastructure of these roads, they're causing major road safety issues.
Right.
These are roads that are not only us, we're driving, our children are driving, there's school buses on these roads.
And as you said, they're single lane, they're not designed to accommodate
Absolutely not.
the traffic that they're seeing.
And it's happening from one side of Caledon to the other. They're going everywhere, and they're actually coming up Highway 10, they're coming up Highway 50, they're coming up into Dufferin County. So it's not just a Caledon problem anymore. Right. We're seeing it all the way up into Dufferin.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I know one of the other issues, Highway 50 seems to be the epicenter perhaps for the illegal trucking yards, but we're seeing Highway 10 and Charleston Side Road. There's a lot of aggregate truck traffic. So there's a theme, and it's not a good one.
Yeah. With the illegal truck yards, there's another aspect of it, which is the environmental part.
Yeah.
Right.
So they have no sewers, no running water, and they're fixing their trucks on there. And so, we're looking at diesel fuel into the lands, into the waterways, and so forth. We've asked for help from the Minister of the Environment, and unless we have proof, they will not come out. And we can't just walk into these yards.
Right.
So we would like help in that way.
So again, this is an all-encompassing issue.
It is.
Focusing a little bit more back onto the traffic itself, let's talk about, there's been some things happening. You have organized some protests over the summer, and I think I read somewhere that you're also looking at community information booths. You have a truck simulator. Tell us a little bit about that and what you're trying to accomplish with the protests and the simulator.
Yeah, so for the protests, really, it's creating awareness, right? Like, we've been asking for this change now for over a year. There have been other groups asking for change for much longer than that, and we're not seeing meaningful change. And so we need to keep that awareness out there that, you know, this problem has not gone away. In fact, it keeps getting worse, and we need people to do something. We need the elected officials at all levels to do something more than what they're doing now. Yeah. And so the protest is a good way to keep that awareness out there. The community booths at all of the community events, we're kind of all over the place, especially within Caledon, is really a good way to get, again, awareness, but also to have our petitions available for people. And those, especially if they're going to the province, they have to be hard copy signatures.
Okay.
So you can't just, you know, put an online petition and send it. It has to be a hard copy signature. So that's a great way to get.
So where are you
those.
at with, I'm curious about petitions. A lot of signatures?
Yeah, I mean, we're well into the hundreds.
Okay.
So we've got around 300-400 signatures on a few of our petitions. We also petition not just to the province, to municipalities, regions, police forces. You know, we've done a lot of them, and so we're, you know, it's really good way to get our asks in front of the elected officials in a formal way.
And I'm going to ask a couple of questions about elected officials, but you mentioned the mayor, and I know there was a standing committee that was in a roundabout way looking at this issue, and it seems to have stalled out. So I know that our mayor has been trying to reinitiate that conversation. What's happening there? Anything?
Yeah, so the standing committee happened in August of 2023, I think, 2024. And it was talking about illegal land use, so not just trucks, but
Right.
also event centers in Ontario. And so Caledon went and pleaded our case. And our understanding was that there was a report that was written, ready to be presented in December of 2024, but did not get on the floor before the House broke for the holidays. And then there was an election, and that means everything basically dies. But essentially everything was ready to go, to be presented. And so the mayor, along with some other local mayors as well, Mayor Brown, Del Duca, I think Mayor Lawler as well, have all asked for those findings to be presented. You know, it was basically done. So
Right.
don't
so let's
redo
not
the
reinvent
work.
the wheel.
Let's just present what was there. So it's something that's been asked for. We're waiting. The province doesn't seem all that motivated, which is very frustrating because, you know, it's all there. They were going to do something, so let's
Right.
see it.
So let's get it done. So speaking of doing something, I know that followers of your Facebook page may have seen some of the videos. We have a couple of short clips as well. Maybe we can take a quick look at just some of perhaps the more egregious examples of traffic that we have seen.
Yeah, it's best to see the visual because that's where you're going to really say, wow, this is happening.
So
And this is daily.
this is daily, and so this would be Highway 50?
This is actually Rutherford Road.
Oh, okay.
This is Highway 50. This is a truck driving at speed in the wrong direction on the
On
shoulder.
the shoulder of the road.
Yes.
Wow.
And this happens daily as well. This is a transport truck doing a U-turn.
Just doing a U-turn.
They've all come out of illegal truck yards.
Yeah.
So just in that short amount of time, 3 independently really horrific examples of what folks in Caledon are experiencing on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
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 That's outrageous.
Yeah, we get videos
So-
every day. We get posts every day, and
Right.
people are frustrated.
Yeah. Well,
And
understandable.
scared. Like
Very much.
literally
Scared.
driving on the road every day,
Yeah.
especially Highway 50, Highway 10. It is a scary experience.
Yeah.
And we hear commuters from other areas saying, I'm not coming up there.
That's right.
Right. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
how bad it is.
I have family members myself who are leery. They force themselves to still get out on the road,
Yeah.
but leery of what they might experience. So seeing those kinds of examples, having the conversation we're having, tell me a little bit about how the movement is growing and evolving, because I think you're attracting the attention of trucking associations, other MPs and MPPs. So maybe tell us a little bit about how these groups are helping you or how you're working together with them.
Yes, we're very active on social media, as you know. So when we see other groups that are trying to do the same thing out there, we reach out or they reach out to us. So we've been very collaborative with all these trucking associations because it's not about not having trucks on the road. We know that, I mean, in this day and age, we need trucks, we need goods moved back and forth. So we understand that. So we've connected with Truckers for Safer Highways, the Women's Trucking Association, Federation. We've actually went to one of their events, sat with a lot of the trucking industry individuals, and they wanted to know what we were all about, and they agreed that we need people like us who say, okay, we need the good truckers out there because we're advocating for those people. So we've been making those connections with those associations, and really good connections with those associations. But we've also been reaching out to MPs or MPPs out of our area. One individual who stuck with us from day one was Mayor Creelman, John Creelman from Mono. He is amazing. He's been an advocate for road safety for years. And he's come up with some great ideas, and he's come out to protests with us. We went to Vaughan together. So
great.
He's been very active with road safety and the CCRSA. But we've also connected with a Minister of Shadow Transportation, MPP Jennifer French in Oshawa. So she first brought in our petition for road safety in Queen's Park last December. She spent 2 hours with us. There's a video that we just uploaded. She was in Peel talking about us. And she grew up here. She grew up in Palgrave.
Okay, so she's familiar with the area.
She's familiar with the area, but she says that's the thing. When she comes back to this area, she can't believe what it's become. So she brought in our petition last year.
And that's wonderful. What support are we getting locally?
That's a great question.
Yeah, it is a great question.
We have met with our MPP, Sylvia Jones. That was back in April of 2024. Had a pretty good conversation, lots of ideas exchanged. We followed up and heard nothing. And unfortunately, that's a common experience for a lot of people. It's very unfortunate. But it's very important for us to say the work that we do, this has nothing to do with a certain political party or throwing support behind really any political party.
Right.
This is a public safety issue.
Yeah.
This involves every single political party. So we are working with anyone. We work with Conservatives, we've spoken with Liberals, NDP, the Bloc Québécois, federally, obviously totally different situation in terms of like the province, but they're also dealing with the same issue.
Right.
And
Any way that we can work together to get the message
Exactly.
there. So talking about the message, and we're close to wrapping up today, where do you see the movement headed? And is it true that you might have a big announcement to share with us today? Or are things still in the works?
The movement, right now we have 3,100 people on Facebook. We've got our Instagram, we've got our website and so forth. We've been getting contacts from all over the country saying us too. So it's become almost a Me Too movement. You've got Stouffville reaching out, Milton, Guelph, and so forth. So we want to, like Carmela said, is associate with everybody, kind of get together and make the movement bigger. The one thing that is really the backbone of our movement is the residents. They are there, we communicate, we don't only just post on our page. They're allowed to communicate, they're allowed to tell their story, they're allowed to tell their emotions and so forth on her, and they've given us a lot of information, and we in turn give them a lot of information to keep them up. Because when we first started, we knew nothing about these truck yards. And as we went down the rabbit hole, we're like, oh.
It's been a learning curve for everybody.
It's been.
Right.
Yes.
And the other thing we've learned is it's not a Caledon problem.
No.
So yes, we are, we're in the transportation hub. We call it ground zero because we are in a transportation hub, freight town. People call us a freight village.
Right.
So yes, we're going to advocate for Caledon, but what we've learned is that this is an Ontario problem. This is a countrywide problem. So we are working on a name change.
Okay.
We are going to incorporate all of Ontario because we are getting requests from everywhere across Ontario. We want to grow that movement. As we go into the province, saying Caledon Community Road Safety Advocacy Group, we're not just speaking for Caledon anymore. These are problems that are across Ontario. So we will have a name change, and we will announce that shortly.
Okay.
And we will incorporate all of Ontario.
Okay.
Our mayor once told us that she's getting calls from all over the country saying, we're watching you.
Right.
Because it's happening there too.
Right.
And as for the simulators, we're hoping to bring the simulators into St. Mike's and Robert F. Hall within the coming months. We have the OPP on board. We have insurance brokers, driving instructors, and we're hoping to get the simulators and possibly even virtual goggles. And what that's going to do is teach these young drivers what it's like to be intoxicated, to drive intoxicated, speed, to maneuver around these large trucks, what's going to happen if you cut them off and they can't stop, and so forth. Because as we were going down the rabbit hole, we realized people are furious about these trucks. So they maneuver around them in very bad ways. And if we can get to the young people and save one life, we've done our job.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we all have something to learn in terms of, we can't lay this all at the feet of the drivers. We all have to learn how to be better drivers
Absolutely.
as well.
Absolutely. And we're going to have a fundraiser soon as well. So we're going to be announcing that shortly.
So people can stay in touch with you. You talked about it. Social media. So there's Facebook,
Yeah.
Instagram,
Yeah.
Yes.
Twitter.
No.
Does anybody?
Twitter.
We don't really even call it Twitter anymore, do we?
X.
X. Right. Okay. Okay. So darn it, we can't be in for the big announcement today, but we know to stay tuned for that.
Absolutely.
So, I want to say that I feel like it's fair to say that the CCRSA has really galvanized a movement at the right time and in the right place. And one that I think is having a significant impact on the future of road safety, as you ladies have said, not just here in Caledon anymore, but for all of Ontario. So I would like to thank you all very much. Thank you, Carmela, Franca, and Amanda, for your advocacy. And we encourage our viewers to keep tabs on what's happening through the social media channels, and perhaps we'll have a chance to have a future update and another visit and conversation.
Would love that.
Yeah. we
And
would
hope
love
good
that.
news.
Yes.
And with some good news.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Thank you
you.
so much, ladies.
Thank
Thanks for having us.
you.
Thank you.
And thank you very
Okay.
much to our residents.
Yeah, absolutely.
We wouldn't
Yes.
be where we are without them.
Yes, exactly.
Good point.
Backbone.
Thank you.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.